My name is Cassandra Wilson Cassie. I'm 34, and last Tuesday my life snapped in half with one glance. I checked my lottery ticket on my phone, expecting nothing, and saw all 6 numbers match. Not close. Not almost. Perfect. My throat tightened. My hands went numb. I checked again, then again, like the screen might correct itself if I stared hard enough. But it didn't. I was the sole winner of $47 million. And instead of screaming, celebrating, or calling someone, my first instinct was cold and immediate. Don't tell anyone. If you're watching right now, comment where you're watching from, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just about money. It's about what money reveals. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this: loyalty, betrayal, and the moment people show you who they really are. Before that ticket, I lived a quiet, tight life in Portland. I worked as an accountant at a small marketing company. Decent pay, constant stress. The kind of job where you're needed, but never celebrated. Especially during tax season, late nights, endless numbers, and the same unspoken rule: keep your head down. Don't complain. My apartment was small but mine. My car was a 10-year-old Corolla that sounded worse every winter. I didn't dream big. I dreamed practical, peace, stability, breathing room. A life where a surprise bill didn't feel like a disaster, because I'd spent years being the person everyone leaned on. And my family trained me to treat money like a landmine. My parents split when I was 14 and remarried fast. My dad, Gregory, a physics teacher, smart, strict, and allergic to emotion. He married Stephanie, a real estate agent with expensive taste and a talent for making you feel small without raising her voice. My mom, Diane, remarried Warren, a wealthy businessman who controlled money the way some people control oxygen. Calm on the surface, but you could feel the rule underneath. What's his is his. I had 2 siblings. My younger sister Lisa was the family's pride. Elite school, perfect marriage, 2 kids, the kind of life our relatives used as proof the family was doing great. My older brother Jason was the opposite. Charismatic, charming, and permanently unstable. Jobs came and went. Plans came and went. Emergencies. Constant. And Jason had one special skill: turning guilt into a payment method. The cycle never changed: panic call, apology, promise, then silence until the next crisis. Over time, I learned the hard way what family meant for me. When Jason claimed he needed $5,000 for rehab, I emptied my savings to help him. Later I found out he never checked in. When Lisa said she was short on wedding expenses, I put $2,000 on my credit card because she promised she'd pay me back after the honeymoon. 5 years passed. No repayment. Not even a mention. When my dad asked for help repairing storm damage on his roof, I wired what I could, then saw him and Stephanie smiling in Cancun on social media a few weeks later. Those moments didn't just disappoint me, they rewired me. So yes, every Friday I bought a lottery ticket. People mocked it. My mom called it a tax on dreamers. My dad lectured me about probability. Jason joked I should just give him the money instead. But I wasn't buying numbers. I was buying a tiny private thought. Maybe one day I won't need anyone. And the week I won was my birthday week. Work was brutal. My boss, Arnold, took credit for my idea again in front of a client. The same old routine: I do the work, he gets the applause. On the way home, I stopped at Gus's corner market like always. Gus was the kind of man who remembered your name and asked real questions. "Happy birthday, Cassie," he said. I don't know why, but I bought 2 tickets instead of 1. And for once I didn't do quick pick. I chose my own numbers, birthdays, familiar dates, people who shaped my life. That night I ate Thai takeout alone, opened a bottle of wine, and checked the drawing casually like it was background noise. Until the numbers started matching. No 3. By the time the 6th number hit, my breath stopped. I rechecked the ticket so many times my fingers hurt. Then the lottery site confirmed it. Jackpot. Single winner. Me. After taxes, I'd still have something like $28 million. I sat there in the quiet, staring at the screen, and realized something terrifying. I'd just been handed the one thing my family would never be normal about. So I didn't celebrate. I researched. All night I read about lottery winners, how families turned into mobs, how old friends reappeared, how people got pressured, guilt, threatened, drained. One article called it the fastest way to lose your life without dying. By sunrise, I made 2 decisions. I would claim the money the safest way possible. No one in my family would know until I had absolute control. I called in sick for the first time in years and met with an attorney named Philip Montgomery. His office looked like money, glass walls, clean silence, expensive calm. I slid the ticket across his desk and said, "I need to claim this, and I need to stay anonymous." Philip didn't act shocked. He acted experienced. He explained trusts, anonymity, protections, and one sentence stuck in my head. Once you tell someone, you can't untell them. Within 2 weeks it was done. The trust was set. The money was secured. Investments started. A future I never imagined was sitting quietly in accounts. And outwardly, nothing changed. Same apartment. Same Corolla. Same job. Same mask. Because sudden change invites questions. And questions lead to attention. And attention around money turns my family into something else. But the secrecy started eating at me. Not because I wanted to brag. Because I needed certainty. I kept thinking, if they knew, would they love me? Or would they use me? Then one night the simplest, darkest idea landed in my mind. Test them. Not with the lottery. Never with the lottery. With me. I would stage a believable crisis. Company shut down, no paycheck, rent due, medical bill stress. I'd ask for $5,000, not a fortune, not a scam amount, just enough to show me who would actually help. Because every one of them had asked me for money at some point. Now it was my turn to ask. Before I started, I told my best friend Charlotte just the plan, not the jackpot. Charlotte frowned immediately. "Cassie, that's manipulation." "Maybe," I said. "But I'm tired of guessing. I need to know." Charlotte looked at me like she already knew the outcome, and it scared her. "You're going to get hurt," she said quietly. "Maybe," I answered. "But I'm already hurt. I just need the truth." That was the moment the test became real. I made a list: Mom and Warren, Dad and Stephanie, Lisa and Paul, Jason, Aunt Heather, Cousin Ryan, and last, Aunt Martha, the only one who'd ever shown up without counting the cost. I picked up my phone, and I called my mother first. As if anyone would help me, it should be her. Right. My mom answered on the third ring, distracted like I'd interrupted something more important than me. "Cassie, what's wrong? You sound upset." That was my opening. I told her the story: company shutting down, last paycheck frozen, rent due, medical bills draining my savings. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't beg. I just sounded tired. When I finally said the number $5,000, there was a long pause. Not shock. Not concern. Calculation. "Oh honey," she sighed. "You know Warren and I just put a deposit on the lake house. Things are tight right now." A lake house. I stared at the wall in my apartment, peeling paint near the window, and felt something inside me go very still. She didn't say no directly. She did something worse: she redirected me. "Maybe ask your father. Or Lisa. Paul's a surgeon, right?" Translation: not my problem. I hung up politely, wrote her reaction in my notebook, and moved to the next name. Meeting my father in person was different. He chose a busy cafe, and I realized quickly why. Public places protect reputations. He listened to my situation like a professor reviewing a thesis. Then came the lecture. "You should always maintain 6 months of emergency savings." "I tried," I said. "Then you failed," he replied calmly. "This is what happens when people don't plan." He dissected my fictional budget, my living area, my subscriptions, my supposed poor decisions, everything except the one thing that mattered: helping. Finally he patted my hand like I was a student who just failed an exam. "This will build character." Character. Not assistance. Character. I walked out realizing something painful. My father didn't see me as family in need. He saw me as a lesson. Lisa was next. Her house looked like a magazine spread. Perfect lighting, perfect counters, perfect smiles on the walls. When I told her I'd lost my job, she gasped and grabbed my hand. "Oh my God, that's terrible." For a moment I almost believed her. Then I mentioned the money. Her expression shifted, not cruel, just inconvenienced. "Well, this isn't the best time," she said, listing car purchases, tuition, renovations, and Paul's strict budgeting rules. She offered sympathy. She offered excuses. She did not offer help. I left with a hug that felt like plastic. Jason didn't even give me that much. I texted him. "That sucks. I'm tight, Aaron." Then nothing. No call. No follow-up. No, are you okay? Just silence from the brother who had taken thousands from me without blinking. Stephanie suggested I get a roommate. Warren said, "You're not my daughter." Aunt Heather turned it into a speech about responsibility. Ryan promised a check, scheduled lunch, then canceled and vanished. 7 people. 7 different voices. Same answer. No. By the end of the week I wasn't angry. I was empty. The experiment had proven what I'd always feared. But knowing something logically doesn't make it hurt less emotionally. Then my phone rang. It was Aunt Martha. I hadn't even called her yet. "Cassie, sweetheart, I heard about your job. Are you holding up okay?" She didn't ask about money. She asked about me. We met for lunch at a small diner near her apartment. She hugged me before sitting down. She listened. Really listened, asking about interviews, offering contacts, thinking of solutions. When the check came, she reached into her purse and slid an envelope across the table. "I want you to take this." I opened it. $3,000. "Martha, I can't." "Yes, you can," she said gently. "Family helps family. No conditions. No lectures. No calculations. Just help." Driving home, I held that envelope like it was glass. Later that night, curiosity pushed me to look into her finances. That money was almost everything she had. Medication costs. Extra tutoring jobs. She had given me nearly all her savings without hesitation. That was my turning point. Not because of the money, because clarity arrived like lightning. The richest people in my life offered excuses. The poorest person offered sacrifice. That night I realized something important. I didn't need revenge with shouting or exposure. I needed revenge with truth and boundaries. And for the first time since the lottery, I knew exactly where my power actually was. The next evening, I invited Aunt Martha to my apartment. She sat on my old couch like it was the most comfortable place in the world. I made tea, but my hands were shaking. Not because I was scared of her reaction, because I was scared of losing the only person who had shown up for me without hesitation. "Martha," I said, sitting beside her, "there's something I need to tell you." She smiled gently. "You look like you're about to confess a crime." I didn't lose my job. The words fell heavy between us. Her eyebrows lifted slightly, but she didn't look angry, just curious. "I made it up," I continued. "I needed to know who would help me if I actually needed it. I needed to know who cared about me, not just what I could give them." She studied my face for a long moment. "I'm not angry," she said softly. "Just a little sad that you felt you had to test people to feel safe." That sentence hit deeper than any rejection had. Then I took a breath and told her the real truth. "I won the lottery 3 weeks ago." Silence. Her eyes widened, but she didn't jump, didn't gasp, didn't reach for the envelope on the table. She simply held my hand and waited. 47 million, I whispered. "I haven't told anyone. You're the first." She squeezed my fingers. "Oh, Cassie, that changes everything." "It already did," I said. "It showed me everything." I offered to pay her medical bills, buy her a better car, fix her apartment, anything. She smiled, the kind of smile that makes you feel 10 years old again. "Sweetheart," she said, "I don't need your money. I just need to know you're safe." That was the moment the revenge truly began. Not yelling. Not exposing them. Not humiliating anyone online. My revenge was silence, independence, and control. If you're enjoying this story, give it a like, it really helps the channel. And ask yourself, what would you have done in my place? The following week, I met my lawyer again. We set up a private trust for Martha, monthly income, medical coverage, and a house fund structured so it would never feel like charity. It would feel like security. Then I called a family meeting. They all came. Funny how quickly people show up when they think something important is about to happen. They sat in my living room, my mother pretending concern, my father pretending authority, Lisa pretending warmth, Jason pretending interest. Martha was the only one who looked relaxed. I stood in front of them and said calmly, "I wanted to clear the air. I'm fine." I accepted a new position with better pay and benefits. Relief spread across their faces like sunlight. No one asked details. No one questioned the salary. No one seemed genuinely curious, because they didn't want truth. They wanted reassurance that I wasn't their problem anymore. Then I spoke again. "When I needed help, most of you couldn't spare a phone call. I just wanted you to know I noticed. No shouting. No accusations. Just facts. They shifted in their seats, offered excuses, blamed timing, finances, misunderstandings. Not one apology. Not one. And that was enough. My revenge wasn't destroying relationships. My revenge was removing expectations. 1 year later, my life looked completely different. I owned a modest home on a quiet street with a small garden. Martha lived a few blocks away in a cozy single-story bungalow built for her comfort. The trust covered her medical care without her ever worrying about it. My nonprofit for elderly individuals living alone was thriving. Charlotte joined me as outreach coordinator. Our weekly wine night stayed exactly the same laughter, same honesty, just a better view. As for my family, we still exchanged polite holiday messages. Birthdays. Occasional visits. But the emotional weight was gone. They never knew about the lottery. Sometimes I helped anonymously, medical bills paid quietly, rehab funded without names attached. Not because they deserved it, but because I chose to. That was the real victory. I no longer gave out of guilt. I gave out of strength. And strength feels very different. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. And comment below what you would have done in this situation. Would you have told them or kept the secret? In the end, the money didn't change who they were. Changed who I was. I stopped confusing sacrifice with love. I stopped chasing approval. I stopped mistaking silence for peace. The greatest thing I won wasn't the jackpot.